days I trash your party. You hate Trump, Biden, Shoddy. You tell every kid you see that you are gay. Science makes you mad, indictments make you glad. For 8 years now we've got 'em, is all you said. Biology is just too much, so the doctors cut off your nuts, and you think that you are a babe. You call me names and swear at me, because you changed the way you be, and I don't want to live your fantasy. I know I'm right, you're fucking crazy, and tonight I'm gonna prove just how much you ain't too bright. You're kinda lazy. I know you're wrong, I know I'm right, you're fucking nuts.
This is the moment we've all been waiting for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Let's get ready to rumble!
God, I was fat. Wait a minute, I still am. That's what you get when you bring a beer cooler to wrestling practice. In this video, I want to rip this race baiter apart with facts. These people will never come on my podcast, but I can rip them apart. I can still rip them apart.
You know you're in a cult if 22 believes that out of 7 billion people on the planet, white, straight, males are somehow oppressing everyone else. You know you're in a cult if 23 will lose your shit when someone points out that you're not oppressed, you're just stupid. 22 believes that out of 7 billion people on the planet, white, straight, males are somehow oppressing everyone else.
You're 27 out of top 30 cities in American crime ran by Democrats. Why?
First, I will tell you. First of all, it's where African Americans are living. So let's bring up Chicago in particular.
Watch how fast he skips over Chicago. When the host wants to continue talking about Chicago, after he mentions segregation and Jim Crow. Why? He knows he fucked up. Chicago hasn't elected a Republican mayor since 1932. He'll do this throughout this diatribe, list all of the sins of the Democrat Party, of which he is a staunch supporter, and we're supposed to forget it was the Democrats. Then he goes on to Mississippi because he knows he fucked up bringing up Chicago and segregation. They always want to bring up the state, but they never want to tell you who's running the cities with the highest crime rates and highest murder rates against black Americans.
What you have had in Chicago is you have had some of the greatest racial segregation, not in 20 years, not in 30 years, but literally in 100 plus years.
Led by Democrats.
No, here's the deal though. Okay, I will show you how Mississippi has the largest percentage of black people in America, run by Republicans, broke as hell. Explain that. Explain me the highest.
In Hinds County, Mississippi, District Attorney Jody E. Owens and all 5 members of the Board of Supervisors are Democrats. In Jackson County, Mississippi, District Attorney Angel Myers Mickelrath is a Republican, as are 4 of the 5 members of the Board of Supervisors, but the City of Jackson Mayor Chokwe Antard Lumbumba is a Democrat. Who decides what crimes to prosecute and which crimes not to? The district attorney. If you took out Hinds County, Mississippi, which has a violent crime rate of 12.303 per 100,000 population, its new violent crime rate would be 10.735 per 100,000 population. That's a reduction of 12.75%. Moving along.
The highest. Tell me when you have. Hold on. Wait.
Don't spin.
No, I'm not spinning.
No, don't.
No. What I'm
Let's
showing
stay
you.
on topic.
Hold on. Wait. Hold on.
Let's stay on topic.
We're
the
on
topic is crime 27 out of 30, not economic. Economic is a different story.
No, it's not.
But I agree with you that we need to get the financial situation.
No. And you're making the mistake.
You went to Mississippi. No.
You notice he continually tries to overtalk the host when he's trying to answer the question. Something you're going to have to remember for later on is the host used to work in real estate as well as marketing. So remember that as this video continues.
No, you're making the mistake.
Here's the mistake you're making.
27 out of 30.
Here's the mistake you're making. When you say crime, I just obliterated a black conservative in my show on this whole issue. When you say crime, you have to then say, okay, what creates crime?
Dickheads like him, weak prosecutors, as I've proven time and again, Democrat policies destroying the black family, and just plain old fucking stupidity. He's going to say poverty, Jim Crow, slavery, everything but personal responsibility, or Democrats. Well, maybe poor people should quit sending their fucking money to dickheads like him, BLM buy large mansions, and the Reverend Al Sharpton. Calling him Reverend is like calling gas station sushi gourmet food, who hasn't done a fucking thing for the black community. There's a lot of money to be made in phony racism.
No, what creates crime? What creates crime?
When people are not doing well financially.
What else?
Your surrounding and environment, who you're around.
No, what else?
Pick up habits.
What else?
Bad policies.
No. What else? See, you're jumping to policies.
But it is bad policies. Wait a minute.
No.
If I lead a company,
The underpinning. Hold on, wait.
If I run a company and I'm the CEO of the company, if the company improves or doesn't improve is based on my policies. I'm the head running the company, the department. If it doesn't improve, it's because of me.
So let me.
What else would it be?
So let me lay it out to you again.
Go for it.
When you talk about what is the underpinning of crime, John Hope Bryant, founder of Operation Hope, this is what he said. He said, "Show me a community where you've seen a riot with a credit score of 700 or higher." The reality is, when you talk about crime in this country, you're talking about economics, you're talking about education, you're talking about housing, you're talking about health. Mm-hmm. Show me areas where you do not have high crime. I'm going to show you areas that don't have the same, aren't as compacted. That's first. What you have is, when you talk about crime in places, you then look at what are the numbers of people there, what are the pockets there, what are those communities, and how did those communities, how were they created literally not over 20, 30 years, but literally over 50, 75, 100 years. Now, that was Jim Crow.
How many years?
There he goes again. You're supposed to forget that Jim Crow was a Democrat evil. You're supposed to believe that America is so racist now, it's actually worse than the 60s.
Does it take to change?
What are you talking about?
How many years does it take to create change?
When you have,
how long does it take to create change?
First of all, you're talking about a black in America.
How long does
There he is, trying to make you believe that America is somehow horribly racist in the 21st century.
Complete lying prick.
You know you're in a cult if. 49. If the sight of the American flag triggers you, but you're too much of a coward to leave.
When you have had,
yeah,
okay, walk through 243 years of slavery, 92 years of Jim Crow, and then you get to 1970 when you are technically fully free, you can't act like all of that before did not impact the issues that.
Again, the evils of the Democrat Party. But he needs you to forget that they are the evils of the Democrat Party. Again, of which he is a staunch supporter. Exactly, Grumpy. Some of them are waking up. Some, not many. Because if they didn't believe, if people didn't say this to them and make them believe it, they would be responsible for the shit they're doing. But if they can blame it on something else like racism and Jim Crow, they don't have to take responsibility. Thanks to this dickheads like this. Exactly. Yeah.
World-class designer bullshit.
That you're having now have to do with not Democratic or Republican policies. It has to do with literally white supremacy and Jim Crow in America. We are still, to act as if we are still not dealing with that. How did housing discrimination take place in this country?
Remember when I said the host worked in real estate? Yeah. Here we go.
You know who created it? The realtors. They apologize for it.
Why are you going away from the question?
No, because here's the deal, though. You don't want to deal with what creates crime areas.
You got to realize this. Listen,
I'm dealing with the real truth. How they create it. What you're dealing with is, there are democratic areas. What I'm dealing with is how do you deal with the historical reality of neighborhoods that simply can't be just, we elected one person and they're just going to change it.
Roland,
doesn't work that way.
Roland, I'm Middle Eastern, okay? I was born in Iran, 10 years. My mother's a communist, my dad's an imperialist. We escaped, we go to Germany. I lived at a refugee camp for 2 years, okay, with people who are Yugoslavian, Czech, Albanian at the time, and they're all leaving for a reason. I come to the States, okay? I'm a welfare baby. I'm a food stamp baby.
Okay.
Just letting you know, my parents are divorced twice in 20 years. I'm going to Glendale High School. I have a lunch ticket I would sell because I don't have any money. I'm 6'1", 130 pounds. That should tell you the fact that we don't come from a lot of money. One day, I'm in the school, and my teacher starts talking about politics. Up until that point, when I think about politics, all I think about is divorce.
Systemic.
Because I think about my mom and dad arguing all the time. I have a lot of pain linked to politics.
Just because you're black don't mean you can't be fucking racist.
Obviously, the teacher's going to be a Democrat because she's presenting how rich people are this rich. I'm like, okay, great, rich people are bad. So I come home.
I obviously
13-1. That's the number. That's
dude. I had a whole lot of damn Republican teachers in my life.
Well, I like stats, and the stats are 13-1 is Democrats to Republican. You know the stats. So I come home and I say, Mom, are we Republicans or Democrats? And she said, we're Democrats. I said, tell me why. She says, because the Democrats are for the poor, Republicans are for the rich.
Then why do the Democrats consistently fuck over the middle class? Why are they the richest class in politics? Why? Because they're lying sacks of monkey nuts.
So my mom says. You know what I told her? I said, when I grow up, I want to be a Republican. Not because I want to be a Republican. I don't know what the policies are.
Well, first of all, who's actually for the rich and the poor?
Well, since the Democrat Party has consistently fucked over the middle class, I'm going to go with the Republicans. And they're not perfect.
Who? Who is for the rich and the poor?
She said it. She said Republicans for the rich, Democrats are for the poor. Is that you say you love? Is it true or not?
First of all,
is it true or not?
Whether that's true, statistically, more rich people are on the Democratic side today than the Republican side.
But no. You say who are for, not who's rich, but who are they for the policy?
But Roland, this is you. You're smart.
No, your mom said it.
I understand, but you're a smart guy, bro. Listen, when I watch you, you're not a dummy. You're very smart. Okay.
Yeah, he's not dumb. He's making millions off of fake racism.
So sometimes John Maxwell says something very important that I completely held to myself. And every time I break this, I don't like it. He said, the moment you learn sales and you learn persuasion, okay, the moment you learn the ability how to persuade, you, me, we learn how to persuade. He says, be very careful to not go one step above that, which is to manipulate just to win all arguments, because you can. You can win any argument if you want to. You can play devil's advocate and flip the argument, play the Republican side, and you make one hell of an argument to beat a Democrat because you can do that. You have the ability, I have the ability as well. I don't want to do that. What I'm asking you right now is the following. Results. Today.
Yes.
People think these people are stupid, and that's why they play this race card. No, they're not stupid. They can make money off the ignorant. You can tell the ignorant enough times that they're being discriminated against, even if they're not. Remember that study about the women with the scars? Well, then they're going to give you money so you can fight for them. And then you go buy a big fucking house. That's exactly what happened.
27 out of 30 cities that are ran by Democrats are the highest crime in America. That's stats.
What states are those in?
There he goes again, trying to use a debunked third-way report, hoping people don't realize that local authorities prosecute crimes, local district attorneys, local judges, unless it's a federal crime. Local law enforcement conduct most arrests and investigations. They don't want you to know that.
What are those states?
The states are different than the community.
New York, Chicago,
no,
LA.
but that's not the thing. The state is the community. The city is where.
What are you talking about?
The city you're in is what you can touch. Every year you come up and you say, "Re-elect me." I can help.
The state. Listen, I am born and raised in Texas,
which is ranked 24th in the country for violent crime. New York and Illinois have more violent crimes than Texas, thanks to New York City and Chicago. Fuck.
Texas, Houston, Clinton Park. To act as if. What? No.
Oh, so then what you're saying is, let's stop voting for mayors. They're a waste of time.
No, see.
Because they can't do anything.
First of all, I didn't say that. Let me finish my thought. I am born and raised in Houston, Texas. Grew up in Clinton Park neighborhood. To act as if what happens in Austin does not have an impact on Houston is crazy.
You're making excuses now.
No, I'm not.
You're making excuses.
Okay, here's the deal, though. See, it's real easy to say it's excuses when I'm stating facts. And the point I'm stating is...
That's not a fact. That's just an opinion.
No, it's a fact. The state of Texas significantly has an impact economically, educationally on what happens in Houston. That's a fact.
Yeah, but
as somebody who, as a kid, traveled with my mom to rallies and events with the metropolitan organization in the state capitol, I understand.
Did you grow up rich?
Who?
Did you grow up rich?
No, my parents didn't even go to college.
How are you rich then?
Easy. A bunch of dumb fucks pay him to tell them how oppressed they are. 2-parent home. Strong drive for education. Still waiting for the state part. That's all good parenting and good responsibility. And I'm actually glad he had that. Which brings up the question, why the fuck would you vote Democrat if you have a strong family unit? They don't like that.
What do you mean how?
How are you rich?
Here's how.
How are you rich?
No, here's how.
Yeah.
Because first and foremost, the neighborhood that I grew up in it was one of the first master plan communities by HUD. What you had in my neighborhood was you had folks. First of all, I had mom and dad. One who also
married.
Hell yeah, they're still married, 56 years. Who absolutely believed in education. Now, what I recognize is, so for me in my household, what my parents emphasized: never went to college. Then my brother went to Texas A&M. I went to Texas A&M. My sister went to Texas A&M, and so that was our house. What I recognize is that somebody who is next door or across the street or around the corner.
You mean they fell victim to the Democrat policies of destroying the black family and the soft racism of low expectations. Got it.
Did not have the situation that I had. Now, I totally get that. What I don't do is be arrogant enough to say, well, I did this. Why can't you? Because I understand that not everyone has the exact same setup.
Nobody in government is there because for the right reasons. And part of it is your own fault. You all have this, the government doesn't care about me. It's not supposed to. Quit fucking expecting it to. The more it cares about you, the more it's going to do shit to you to worry about what you're fucking doing. Their job is to protect your rights. That's it. Protect your rights. That's it. Stop saying the government doesn't care about me. You don't want them to care about you. The the Soviet government cared about their people a whole fucking lot.
The same situation. What I'm talking about.
That's why this asshole's making money, because he keeps telling the government that the people that the government doesn't care about them. There's systemic racism. They're not supposed to. They're supposed to protect your rights. I never took an oath to protect you. Nowhere in my oath does it say protect the American people. It says to defend and support the Constitution. That's where your rights are enumerated. That's all I swore to do. I don't have to care about you. And I work for the government. That's not my job. Just like the Supreme Court ruled, police don't have to protect you. They have to support and defend the Constitution. Support and defend your rights. Or they wouldn't have to read you the Miranda Act.
About, and this is the, again.
But why not give that story of inspiration to say you can get out of it?
Because there's no money in it. If he wasn't doing what he's doing, race baiting, he wouldn't be rich. He is the exact opposite of what the Democrat Party wants for black Americans. If they were self-sufficient and flourishing, would they vote Democrat? See my video on the new Democrat plantation.
First of all, you say, why not?
Why
I'm
not?
sorry. Yeah, you clearly have never watched my show when what I talk about consistently are these very issues. I don't sit here and go do doom and gloom. First of all, every single Tuesday on my show, I feature actual black-owned businesses. Every single Wednesday, I feature African-Americans who have tech companies.
I love that.
Every Friday,
Yeah.
I actually feature something called Education Matters, folks who are in the education space, school choice. I got.
You mean like the school choice advocated by Republicans?
HBCU Connect. So I do all of that.
So then
But one second.
But you know why I said that? Let me tell you why I said that. Because you
Okay.
said I'm not the.
But New York State. Yeah, you're right, Grumpy. You took the same, well, not the exact same oath I did, but does it say in there anywhere that you're supposed to take care or give a shit about? And I'm, obviously paraphrasing, but your job was to protect their rights. That's it. It's not to give a shit about them. I mean, obviously, you're going to make relationships, but you understand what I'm saying. The government doesn't give a shit about you. It's not supposed to. I don't want you worrying about me. Because if you worry about me, you're going to be wondering what the fuck I'm doing. I don't need you to worry about what the fuck I'm doing. Do you know those lockdowns and the mask mandates? They were started under the auspice of the government cares about you. I don't want the government to care about me. I want the government to defend my rights. That's it. Stay the fuck out of my life. I have rights that are listed in the Constitution. Quit fucking with them. Do you know those lockdowns and the mask mandates? They were started under the auspice of the government cares.
The one that says,
Back
"Look
to
at
the
me,
race
I
baiting.
got
might
out,
have to
so
get a
can
beer
you."
or
That's what you said.
No. Here's why I say that. Because it is arrogant when, as an individual, I'm assuming everyone else's situation is the same. That's first. Two, it's also arrogant to then not actually study and look at how, from a macro level. See, you're describing a micro level. You can always have that singular individual or this person or that person or this family. That's micro. What I'm talking about is macro issues. And what I'm saying is, when I look at communities, that's not micro, that's macro. Even within the African American community, when you dealt with Jim Crow, you couldn't live anywhere else. You literally could not live anywhere else. Bottom line is, if you were black and had money, and then you were black and broke, you were literally living in the same neighborhood. After Jim Crow ends with integration, what then happened? Those African Americans who were middle class, upper middle class, began to move away. What then began to happen was you had areas where poverty increased even more so.
Why move away, though? Why move away?
Because
if you care about the community, why not stay there and change it?
Well, first of all, does anybody else move?
What do you mean?
Who the hell else don't move? How do you think suburbs were created?
But wait a minute.
What do you mean? How do you think white flight was created?
But
so,
Oh, exactly. He's fucking arrogant because even he knows it's not true. He contradicts himself in this video about home values. He's talking about crime, but doesn't understand how crime will fuck up your property values. But yeah, I've watched this video 2-3 times. That's why I drink beer, so I don't want to fucking punch my computer. I have to kind of kind of relax. That's why I put the funny wrestling video in the beginning, to give me kind of a balance of. I noticed none of the dumbasses that were trolling my InstaFace account showed up, even though I think Grumpy saw it. I invited him 100 times. I think I didn't interact with him. I just said 7 p.m. tonight. But anyway, yeah, this guy. He's a proponent for CRT in schools. This is why I did, because I hate fucking CRT is basically communism being taught in schools under the auspices of what do they call it? DOE, diversity, equity, and something else. Out of DOI and inclusion. DOI. Fuck your DEI. You realize the human species is the only species that will keep its stupid and weak alive out of sympathy. We actually break the rules of Mother Nature. And it's gotten us into trouble because people like this fucking exist. But I need a beer and then... I'm back. Let's continue to just fuck with it. Of course, he has a degree from A&M. I have 3 degrees, one from Tompkins Cortland Community College. Woohoo! And I'm fucking destroying this asshole.
So everybody else get to move, but we can't move?
But if you act like you care about the community as much
guess
as
what?
you do, stay
but
there.
But I'll answer your question. Do you know why? Because when African Americans were living in black neighborhoods, they also had economically depressed housing values, and the reality is they were not able to
change it. Help change it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I am.
I drink my beer.
Okay,
I'll
give you an idea.
The wife is at church right now praying for me.
Here's OD.
Are you familiar with...
Yep. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Fuck you. If you're a fucking idiot, you don't deserve any of that. It's not. It should be diversity. I'm all for diversity. I live in Brazil, man. There's tons of different colored people here. Equity. Fuck your equity. How about equality? If you're a fucking idiot, you're going to get what you deserve. And inclusion. I'm all for that. If you're not a fucking retard, criminal, scumbag, hey, come on in. Ain't nobody, nobody's against inclusion. Nobody's against diversity. But don't hire airplane pilots just because of their skin color, because I don't want to fucking die. Equality. They should change that word from equity to equality. Equality means you get the same chances. Equity is you get the same outcome. That's called communism. And it's usually equal suffering. And inclusion is, if you're not a scumbag, we should have the choice of who we associate with. I don't want to associate with scumbags. I don't give a shit what your color is. If you're a fucking idiot, you're a fucking idiot. Yeah, I don't do what Jimmy and Grumpy do. Because I'm alone here. I'm trying to find a way where I can do videos, where I can bring people in. But, yeah, this guy's a fucking idiot. And I don't know him personally. I mean, maybe we could be friends. I mean, we could debate this shit. But he's a fucking idiot, right? Doesn't mean I hate him. He's just a fucking idiot. The reason I think he's a fucking idiot is this video. He could be a great guy outside. Like, he could be like, man, I hang out with white people and all this, and of course, I guess now even that's racist. I have black friends. I can't say that but he's black and he's a friend of mine. It's like I have gay friends. Well, that's homophobic. How is that homophobic? I have gay friends. Actually, I have friends. I don't have a lot of friends, but I have friends. Some of them happen to be gay. Some of them happen to be black. Some of them happen to be Mauve. How about this? Instead of having like those 3 classes, like we have like Asian American, we go down to like the paint store and we get those little test strips. We actually figure out what color our skin actually is, and then we go by that. If they can do that with genders, we should be able to do that with skin color.
Palmdale,
I'm gonna need you to be drug tested. Seriously.
Yeah.
Do you even know today? We've done the stories in Florida. When somebody's black selling their house, the appraisers will come in and literally give them a value $100,000 to $300,000 less because they're black. You know that's actually happened, right?
You'll take one story and say that.
Oh my God!
On how many occasions has that happened?
Are you serious?
Do you think a message like
Okay, why don't you go ahead and Google? Why don't you go ahead and Google?
How many times has that happened? No, I believe it's happened, but how many times has that happened?
The New York Times literally just did a story talking about the systemic racism that exists within housing appraisals. This is a fundamental problem. I'm trying to see you're living in a different reality.
What progress are you making by?
Yes, our different reality is we don't see color. We see if you're a dick or a fucking idiot.
Saying that.
What progress?
So what you're doing?
I'm trying to end that. Okay. Do you know how inherent? Okay, hold on. You said you're Middle Eastern, right?
You're trying to.
Hold on. You said you're Middle Eastern, right?
I am, yes.
How would you feel? How would you feel?
Yes.
If you're selling your home, you've got a home that you know,
right?
And you put upgrades in it, and you know your home is worth $500,000.
Yeah.
And somebody comes into your home, and they see your photos,
right?
And they see your family, and then they go back and they go $350,000. You go, what the hell?
So you tell that story.
Wait, one second.
To get people to be convinced that's happening.
It's actually
out of 1,000 appraisals.
Oh my God.
Out of 1,000 appraisals, how many times does that happen? Out of 1,000 appraisals, how many times does that happen?
You want to pull that up?
Tell me.
It's in a high crime area. So they want to move after the end of Jim Crow. But the lower property value isn't because it's a high crime area. Oh, fucking no. It's because they're black.
Pull that
That's
up.
your world, though. Out of 1,000 appraisals, how many times does that happen? Let's just say it happens.
It is a significant issue in America.
Like
oh my God!
And wait, one second. And then when the woman takes,
here, I got to tell you this: that Kendi asshole goes to the school unions. He makes $300 a minute to tell people how fucking racist they are. They're teaching this in your schools, folks. Let me ask you something, and this is because my kids are grown. All these parents go, I'd do anything for my kids. Really? They're grooming and mutilating kids in schools, teaching them that whites are racist and straight whites are racist and homophobic. They're brainwashing your kids. Would you do anything? Really? You'd do anything? We have the Second Amendment, you dumb fucks. I ain't seeing the anything. And maybe it's time for the old, that we start the old, civil war. Okay? That I think actually needs to fucking happen. Yeah, I get, let me see, emergency.
This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual purge sanctioned by the U.S. government. Weapons of Class 4 and lower have been authorized for use during the purge. All other weapons are restricted. Government officials of ranking 10 have been granted immunity from the purge and shall not be harmed. Commencing at the siren, any and all crime, including murder, will be legal for 12 continuous hours. Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be unavailable until tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. when the purge concludes. Blessed be our new founding fathers and America, a nation reborn. May God be with you all.
I'm just saying. Okay, back to the race baiting douche nozzle here.
A black person should not have to remove their photos from the wall and remove black art and remove black books to have a white appraiser then come in and go, oh, it's actually 550.
So
one second, because I'm going to show you how it impacts generationally.
Here we go.
So when you, follow me here, because this is housing in America.
I'm with
when you then get that lower appraisal, You then
Right.
cannot sell your house for the higher value,
Okay.
which then means you are not then taking those proceeds and being able to invest, being able to send your kids to school. And what I'm trying to explain to you is there is a world out here that for some reason you're like living in Unity world that ain't the real America.
Brother, you
and
have
I'm
the
trying
wrong
to
guy.
get rid of that stuff.
You have the wrong guy here. You have the
I'm
wrong
trying to
guy
get
here.
rid of it.
Okay, good for you. I am as well. But you have the wrong guy here. And here's what I mean by that. So when you ask the question, what do you do if they appraise your house $350,000 less, right? That's your question. Okay. I don't see myself as a victim. I stopped looking at myself as a victim a long time ago. And by the way, being Armenian and Assyrian, you know what a lot of people in the Armenian community do? You know what a lot of people in the Armenian community do? They sell victimhood mentality. I'm raised with that, which is the statement of mechka. I know you don't know what the word mechka means. Mechka means, oh, poor Roland, oh, poor PBD. I don't see myself as a victim. And the other part is when you use one story as an example to divide and get people even angrier because out of 1,000 appraisals this happened one time, I don't think you're unifying when you say a statement like that to say, hey, this is what's taking place all the time. But going back to it, so you left because you wanted better economic situation for yourself.
Listen to what you just said again.
I'm having a hard time listening to what you just said when you're saying
it's so fundamentally flawed because when you say, oh my God, you see yourself as a victim.
You do.
No.
You're selling it as a victim.
No, I'm not. What I'm selling is a reality. What I'm selling is when this is again, since I guess you couldn't pull it up. Okay.
Oh, he did pull it up.
Okay, the Biden administration, the Federal Housing and Finance Agency.
The Biden administration. The same administration that has a male admiral who thinks he's a fucking woman in charge of your mental health. Holy fuck.
Released 47 million appraisal reports to the public for the first time. The appraisals, which were compiled between 2013 and 2021, present evidence of a persistent, widespread practice in the home appraisal industry to give higher values to homes when the occupants are white and devalue them if the owners are people of color.
That's such bullshit. That's such bullshit. You know why?
Hold up.
Let me tell you why that's such bullshit.
They actually took the reports and showed the data, and now you call it bullshit.
Of course I call it bullshit.
So wait a minute. So you asked for the data and the facts.
No.
And now you give your opinion
first of all,
because you don't like the facts.
Bro.
Come on, man.
Do you run a company?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so when you run a company, how much shit can I find in the OpEx? How much
in the what?
This motherfucker doesn't know what an OpEx is. Listen to him. He's
OpEx. When I go into my balance sheet and I look at my expenses, my monthly expenses, what I'm paying for, rent, employees, benefits, workers' comp, I can give a number and say, we lost $280,000 this year. And it's like, oh my God, we lost $280,000. And then I open up the balance sheet and then boom, I'll see you're moving your face like you don't know what I'm talking about.
First of all,
when I see a data like this, tell me the whole story. To jump to conclusion with something like this without seeing the entire story is ludicrous to make a comment like that. But
analyzing the millions of appraisals by using census tracts as a proxy for neighborhoods and comparing communities with nearly identical housing stock, two researchers found that the results showed a clear correlation. The higher the proportion of white residents in each community, the higher the appraised value of individual homes. They compared similar data. See, again, you want to reject the facts. And what I'm trying to explain to you is
I am refusing to constantly have people give data without me having access to the entire thing for their own benefit to divide
So what you're saying is in order for you need access to the 47 million home appraisals.
I'd love to see
yourself.
I would love to see it.
Okay, guess what? It's a federal agency. File a FOIA.
I'd love to see it.
File a FOIA.
But here's file a what?
A FOIA.
Okay, so I'd love to see it. You know why? Here's the part. How often do you see data being used and we don't know the whole story? Both sides. How often?
Well, first of all, we see data out there, but what I'm saying, I'm looking at data, actual data, and I'm also looking at a reality. And here's what I'm saying to you. And again, this is what you, for some reason, you're not fully accepting. What is the most consistent way Americans have been able to actually build wealth? It has been through housing. That's been historical. And when you are black in America, this is not an opinion. This is not a perspective. It's a fact. What we have seen is when you have been unable to enter the housing industry, meaning covenants saying you can't sell to black people, then when you actually...
That's exactly what I mentioned. He contradicts himself, too. He says blacks are moving out of high crime areas, but they're being offered less money for their houses. Well, don't you think high crime in an area would affect your fucking property values, dumbass? Wouldn't school location and quality affect your fucking property values, dumbass? He's trying to make money by using these ignorant assholes who don't want to take personal responsibility. Yeah, I got caught selling crack, but it's the system. No, you got caught selling crack, you dumb fuck. Selling crack's illegal. But anyway, holy fuck. These people this is why I drink, because these people piss me off to the point that I just want like I said, he could be a nice guy outside this shit, and he's just trying to make a buck. Good for him, he's trying to make a buck. But shit like this is getting people killed. In Chicago, New Orleans, all the people that think they can get away with shit are shooting each other because it's the police. It's not the fact that you're taking out a Glock 40 and fucking capping people.
They buy a home and they've been grossly undervalued. That then...
No, they've been undervalued by the crime wave of your fucking loony leftist prosecutors and district attorneys and all that other shit.
Limits you from being able to sell your home at a higher value and now take the profits and then create a business and then be able to send your kids to college. And what I'm saying to you is, when that has been persistent, when you look at the appraisals, one, when you look at inability where you're buying a house, two, all of a sudden now you see a clear way how African Americans have been impacted, not historically, but still in present day. And what I'm saying to you is, whether you are Democrat or Republican, I want that to change, because what I want
you've had 53 years. The Democrats
when Republicans were president and in charge, they didn't change.
Wait a minute. Democrats have had the black vote for 53 years. What have you done?
You're
for
not
them?
even answering the question.
What's that?
On this issue right here,
Roland,
is Democrat, Republican, independent. It is a systemic.
Welfare is literally what destroyed the black family, and that's why the black family is in the shape it's in now. Because they incentivized black fathers not being in the home. Maybe if a black father had stayed in the home and beat some ass, just saying. But if I say that, I'm racist.
American problem.
You still haven't answered my basic question.
What you have is, when you talk about...
I'm having a hard time listening to what you just said when you're saying...
You have been unable to enter the housing industry, meaning covenants saying you can't sell to black people. Then when you actually buy a home and they've been grossly undervalued, that then limits you from being able to sell your home at a higher value and now take the profits and then create a business and then be able to send your kids to college. And what I'm saying to you is, when that has been persistent, when you look at the appraisals, one, when you look at inability where you're buying a house, two, all of a sudden now you see a clear way how African Americans have been impacted. Not historically, but still in present day. And what I'm saying to you is, whether you are Democrat or Republican, I want that to change, because what I want you've
had 53 years. The Democrats
when Republicans were president and in charge, they didn't change.
Wait a minute. Democrats have had the black vote for...
Under Trump, blacks had historically low unemployment. Yes, it did change. It changed. Holy fuck.
53 years. What have you done?
You're not even answering the question.
What's that?
On this issue right here,
Roland,
is Democrat, Republican, independent. It is a systemic American problem.
He just said black Americans were moving from high crime areas. So it's not the crime or the schools. It's the color of their skin.
Hospital tested, clinically proven bullshit.
Still haven't answered my basic question. I asked you about 27 out of 30 cities. You blame the state.
No. I answered the question.
What did you say?
I said to you, you show me high crime areas. I am explaining to you how they are high crime areas. And what I'm saying...
None of it has to do with their policies.
What?
High crime cities in America, none of it has to do with Democrats running
And you
those
can't
cities.
even name the policy. What policy? Give me 3 Democratic policies.
The point is you can't name the policy.
Name the policy. Let me see here. Three. I can give you 3. I can give you more than 3. Just got to find it here. 3. Policies. Oh, here we go. Give me 3 Democratic policies. Okay. Ending cash bail. Defunding the police. Refusing to prosecute entire categories of crimes. Letting thousands of convicted felons out of prison early, significantly cutting the prison population. Refusing to prosecute entire categories of misdemeanor crimes, including theft, drug possession, shoplifting, receiving stolen property, breaking and entering, destruction of property, disturbing the peace, disorderly conduct, resisting arrest, and more. Forbidding prosecutors from including sentencing enhancements or allegations of prior convictions or special circumstances for egregious crimes or actions. Forbidding prosecutors from seeking the death penalty in any case. Forbidding prosecutors from seeking life without parole sentences for any crime. Refusing to prosecute violent teenagers in adult court for such crimes as murder, child abuse, and rape. Requiring prosecutors to ask for release of duly convicted violent felons whose appeals have been denied after these felons have served at least 15 years of a longer sentence. I wish the host had contacted me. I would have ate this guy for lunch.
This is your world. It's right. If I'm in the business world and you ask me a question,
Pat, ending cash bail, defunding the police, which is in our faces, refusing to prosecute categories of crimes, letting thousands of convicted felons out on prison release, cutting the prison population.
So that right there, that's the reason for high. That's the reason for high crime in the last 20 years.
No, I'm just saying that's the article from New York Times.
You still haven't answered.
No. I'm actually answering.
Yeah.
And here's the whole deal. First of all, when you talk about the issue of ending cash bail, that's actually only been very recent. 2, ain't no defund the police. The reality is,
you know you're in a cult if 20 will lie even with irrefutable evidence.
So we've been talking about defunding the police.
There's some issues that we ask police to do, like mental health issues or policing in schools and all the rest, that perhaps we can shuffle some of that money around.
Suck it up. Defunding the police has to happen. We need to defund the police.
Mayor Eric Garcetti saying, take some of the money from policing, about $150 million.
I applaud Eric Garcetti for doing what he's done.
Not only do we need to disinvest in police, but we need to completely dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department.
So yes, defund your butts. Defund you.
Yes, I support the reallocation of resources from NYPD. We will be moving funding from the NYPD to youth initiatives and social services.
They are talking about reducing the allocation of resources to that department. And I think every single city in this country ought to be thinking about the same thing.
Yes, I support the defund movement. I'm for responsible reallocation of resources.
And defund the police.
I think you do all those other things, you don't need all the money that's going to the police department. So yeah, I mean, the spirit of it, I do support that.
Yeah, and a lot of us were asked if we could imagine a future without police back in 2017 when we were running for office. And I answered yes to that question.
We are going to reduce funding in the police department and redirect that money.
There's no reason the police budget should just keep growing and growing and growing. They can make sensible cuts to police.
We propose to redirect over $7 million from the police bureau.
That our city, through our city administrative officer, identified $250 million in cuts.
Rashida Tlaib tweeting, no more policing, incarceration, and militarization. It can't be reformed.
When they're saying defund the police, what are they saying? They're saying we want fundamental, basic change when it comes to policing. and they're right.
We are reallocating funds. The police department here in Minneapolis needs to be dismantled, and we need to start anew.
In some necessary cases, completely dismantling those police forces.
Police departments are taking a sizable amount of the budget of a lot of municipalities and other entities. We need to look at those budgets, pull some of the money back, and invest it in other things.
We are committed to shifting resources.
Our calls to defund the police have been met with resistance.
But they'll deny they asked to defund the police. They'll deny that.
And instead invest in the things.
That's why I'm playing this little audio.
Yes, I support a radical reimagining of community safety and public safety.
I do believe that we need to reallocate resources away.
And will this involve cuts? Yes, of course, to every department, including the police department.
And so when we dismantle it, we get rid of that cancer.
When we said defund the police,
I actually wish this host had called me to be on a panel with him. I would have fucking destroyed him.
Other
because I will yell louder than you. I'm one of those Republicans who don't give a
Defunding
fuck.
police means
Well, I'm not a
defunding police.
Republican. I'm
If
a
these
conservative.
reports are accurate, then
There's a
these
difference.
proposed cuts to the
Republicans are fucking
NYPD budget
useless.
are a disingenuous
have
illusion.
values.
This is not a victory.
The
The
loonies
freshman
have to have no
Democrat adding
values.
the fight to defund policing will continue.
We are going to reimagine policing in New York City.
I think the idea of having a police-free future is very aspirational. And I am willing to stand with community members who are asking us to think of that as the goal.
Should be defunding or dismantling their police departments, such as in Minneapolis and New York.
My answer is yes to that. We need to be looking at it clearly.
Which means reallocating and not further investing in a carceral state.
Going through a process of dismantling that institution.
So defunding the police, for me, it means a reallocation of funds.
Why use the word defund? Why use the word defund? And it's like, this is the word that's coming from the streets.
There's no money.
We're going to dissolve the gun violence reduction team, the school resource officer program, and the transit specialty units.
You don't have one bad apple. You don't have four bad apples. You have a system-wide problem in that police department. And only by completely dismantling that system and rebuilding it intentionally with the community members at the table, do you have any hope of getting it right?
Coming together as a community to reimagine what public safety looks like for us.
We talk about defunding the police, defunding the Pentagon.
My push is that we defund our police departments.
This idea of reprioritizing our budget, this idea of moving funds and reinvesting.
It means that we need to look at ways in which we can reduce the amount of resources that we're providing to the department, redirect those funds.
To make sure that that defund is first understood and that we bring that home to our communities.
So Minneapolis unanimously just voted on a resolution that will engage the community on a one-year process of what happens as we go through the process of dismantling the department and starting anew.
And what we committed to was a community process to help reimagine public safety.
The city council in Minneapolis made the right decision.
So when we talk about defunding, it can show up in multiple ways.
We obviously took money out of the NYPD budget, put it into youth programs, put it into social services, put it into recreation centers for young people. That's really the right direction. I'm glad we did that.
Not only do we need to defund, but we need to dismantle and start anew. Allows us to really reimagine what public safety should look like in our community.
It means a dramatic reduction in the number of police in our poor communities, and particularly our poor Black and brown communities.
I'm asking you to ask yourself, what are you willing to sacrifice to make sure that overfunded police departments are defunded?
Our commitment is to end our city's toxic relationship with the Minneapolis Police Department, to end policing as we know it.
And so what we are advocating for is a reorientation, reimagining of what public safety should be.
And of course, he'll play with the words, as the loony left likes to do. It's not mutilating a child It's gender-affirming care. Babbling seems to be the main tactic of the loony left when they don't want to answer a question or get caught lying. And of course, he'll play with the words, as the loony left likes to do. It's not mutilating a child, it's gender-affirming care.
And the Eagles are so much better than the Eagles.
Still Fettermaning, I see. For those who don't know, Fettermaning is a verb. It is babbling incoherently on a subject, normally giving responses that have nothing to do with the questions being asked. Generally caused by brain damage from listening to other loony leftists for extended periods of time, it is one of the leading symptoms of TURD. Example. What has Sniffy Joe done for the country? Fettermaning. Well, Trump once got a traffic ticket back in 1973. I asked what Sniffy Joe has done for the country, and you started Fettermaning.
You have seen a major increase in funding of police.
Democrats defund the police 2 years ago for an entire year.
That's a flat out lie. There were individuals.
You can say that with a straight look on your face.
I can tell you right now. I have actually talked directly.
So who came up with defund the police?
Who came up with it? Activists did.
Right. Activists were Republicans or Democrats?
They were activists. First of all, they hate both parties. You don't even talk to them.
But,
I do.
But the Democrats in Congress were repeating it.
No.
AOC
Stop. AOC, who else? You said the Democrats in Congress. How many Democrats in Congress oppose defund the police?
A lot. But I'm saying there were still some in Congress saying you're repeating the rhetoric.
You just said some. Hell, I could quote Louis Gohmert and some crazy stuff that he says and go, well, you know what? That's Republicans. The reality is this here. Democrats, Democratic mayors, Democratic governors, and yes, Democratic president have greatly increased funding of police in this country. Ain't
Bullshit.
Even a question. So you can holler, well, Democrats defund the police when it shows. They've actually increased the funding.
Show the video.
They've increased the funding.
You asked for it.
Yeah.
You asked for it. Show the video.
Which video now?
Show the video I just emailed you. I just texted to you.
Because who we got? Don Lemon, Charles Barkley.
Democrats haven't said defund the police at all because they would never
say that.
No, you said Democrats haven't said it. Activists said that. Your word.
No. You said who created the phrase. I said it was activists that created the phrase.
Who came up with the concept of defunding the police?
Activists did.
And then which credible Democrats have defunded the police?
There were some Democrats.
No, not some. These are some heavy-duty ones.
No.
Make it bigger.
No.
Make it bigger.
When Democrats controlled Congress, how many votes they had?
Here you go.
When Democrats control Congress, how many votes did they have?
You like Nancy Pelosi?
When Democrats control Congress, how many votes did they have? How many votes did they have?
What's your point?
The point is this here.
Pause it so we can start from the beginning.
Did 223 Democrats vote to defund the police?
Press
No.
play.
Answer the question. Yes or no?
I want you to see this. I want you. You're asking. I'm showing you data because you asked for this.
No, you're showing me some Democrat who spoke on
no, not some. That's the most credible
mental
ones.
Health issues or policing in schools and all the rest. That perhaps we can shuffle some of that money around.
Suck it up. Defunding the police has to happen. We need to defund the police.
Mayor Eric Garcetti saying, take some of the money from policing, about $150 million.
I applaud Eric Garcetti for doing what he's done.
Not only do we need to
No.
That's two.
That's two.
But we need to completely dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department.
So yes, defund your
same person.
Defund you.
Yes, I support the reallocation of resources.
Three.
No, that's not defund.
We
will be reallocating money is not funding.
No, because I'm about to check it.
Initiatives and social
It's two.
services.
They are talking about
five now.
reducing
No, it's not.
the allocation of resources to that department.
You're
And I think
defunding them.
every
You're
single
wrong. How's that
city
wrong?
in this
You're
country ought to be
wrong.
thinking about the
explain
same
that to
thing.
me.
Yes, I support the defund.
That's the keep
gonna
going.
Three.
The audio I played you has more politicians saying defund the police. Of course, the loony leftist does the semantics things because he got caught lying.
Now, let me explain to you.
How many more you want me to play?
No. So let me explain.
That's five.
No,
it's three.
That's five.
So yeah, I mean, the spirit of it.
So pause it. Pause it. By the way, would you?
Okay, hold on, right there. What does reallocate mean?
Would you like me to continue this?
No,
Don't spin again.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong. Do you understand? Do you understand that in a significant number of cities in this country,
right,
where you have policing who do everything? Okay, you have in some cities where the police are handing out parking tickets, where the police are doing duties that had nothing.
So he's just going to skip the fact that he got caught lying and move along with Democrats fired cops because got it.
Do with the streets. When you say reallocate, what that says is, okay, why should we have police handing out parking tickets? Why don't we have them doing the major function of fighting crime? Why don't we actually have this unit that handles that? That's called reallocation. When you talk about the issue of mental illness,
you're spinning.
No, I'm not. I'm stating facts.
You're spinning.
First of all, let me ask both of you a question. Have either one of you actually covered City Hall before?
So he got caught lying, and now he wants to try and spin from a place of authority, which has nothing to do with the topic at hand. You lied. That's the topic at hand.
No.
Don't
go to. No. I'm giving you. You want facts? Here's the deal. I actually have been a City Hall reporter. I have actually been in the city meetings. When you talk about,
why don't you just say you were wrong? Why don't
I'm
you
not
just
wrong.
say Democrat?
Because he wasn't wrong. He was lying. There's a difference. Being wrong is a mistake. Lying is being a leftist.
How Democrats went from defund to refund the police. As crime rates rise ahead of the midterms, black mayors of the nation's largest cities are leading the call to crack down on lawlessness. Washington, a young Democratic member of Congress, declared the defund the police movement dead on Thursday, and black Democratic mayors from San Francisco to New York, Chicago to Washington, D.C., are moving to increase police budgets and end the reign of criminals. As violent crime surges ahead of the November midterms, President Joe Biden and the Democratic Party are toughening their talk on crime and refunding the police only 2 years after some progressive activists took up the call to defund them. People are still against crime and people want to be safe, said former Philadelphia Mayor Michael Nutter in an interview. You're seeing in communities all across the country that when folks actually came to grips with the conflict of rising crime rates and an effort to quote-unquote take away from policing, the public, being way ahead of the politicians as usual, figured out no, that's not a good idea, we want to be safe. Biden traveled to New York City Thursday to meet with the city's recently elected Democratic Mayor, Eric Adams, a former police officer who has vowed to clean up the streets. Adams' victory in the crowded Democratic primary last year was seen by many in the party as a sign that voters were done with anti-police rhetoric. 2 years after Democratic officials across the country aligned themselves with protesters demanding the police be reined in and progressives backed the elections of reformist prosecutors, the mayors of many of the nation's largest cities are now reversing course and leading calls for a tougher stance on crime. Nutter, who is black, has been on something of a crusade against Philadelphia's reformist district attorney, Larry Krasner, who is white, after the top prosecutor said at a December news conference that we don't have a crisis of lawlessness, we don't have a crisis of crime, we don't have a crisis of violence. In a Philadelphia Inquirer op-ed, Nutter wrote that it takes a certain audacity of ignorance and white privilege to say that right now, noting that people of color living in struggling parts of the city were often the ones most victimized by crime. We have to disabuse people of this flawed premise that black and brown people are against the police. Black and brown people are against police abuse, Nutter said. As Democrats, we have to do two complicated things at the same time. We have to ensure public safety and reform the abuses of the criminal justice system. Conservatives have for decades exploited fears, often racialized, of crime for political benefit. Only 46% of Americans approved of Biden's handling of crime in December, according to an ABC News/Ipsos poll, while 56% of voters in a January Fox News survey said Republicans would do a better job on the issue. Democrats acknowledge their answers on crime, stopping the flow of illegal guns, addressing poverty, reimagining law enforcement, treating addiction, are more difficult to convey in a campaign. But James Carville, the veteran Democratic strategist who in the 1990s helped Bill Clinton overcome concerns that Democrats were soft on crime, said the party would be wise to follow the lead of its black mayors who are responding to their constituents' concerns. If you see something that your voters in particular encounter every day, then you've given up, he said. You've got to own this or this is going to own you. Carville said a fringe element in the party had cowed the rest into a fear of talking.
That's enough of that. Basically, he lied because how do you refund the police if you didn't defund them? So he lied. So back to the race baiting douche nozzle.
Democrats were wrong.
Because I'm not wrong, because you're wrong.
No, but
hold on, Roland.
Wait a minute. Hang
Explain to me reallocation. Hold up, Mr. CEO.
Yeah.
When you're in a company and when you reallocate funds from one unit to the other, are you cutting funding or are you simply adjusting?
Why do you have a hard time just saying they said it? Why do you have a hard time? By the way, I
actually counted three people who said the words defund.
If you allowed it, you would have heard them saying defund the police.
Wait a minute. I literally heard Nancy Pelosi say shuffle. I heard Kamala Harris say reallocate. You go, oh, that's defund. You actually have a reallocation of resources that exist in city government, county government, state government, federal government every single day. But for some reason, you don't want to deal with that. Yeah. Was it spin when I told you that Democratic mayors and governors and the president, they've greatly increased police funding? Why? Hold up. Can you acknowledge that as a fact?
Roland,
hold up. Can you acknowledge it as a fact?
If I sit with you and you can acknowledge.
Can you acknowledge as a fact?
And you can acknowledge that your side of the party.
It's not my side.
Supported.
See, that's right there. See, you're yelling your side.
I'm not yelling my side.
I'm
a registered independent.
Here's the whole deal, though. First of all, in Texas, I don't have to register as anything.
You still are not going to acknowledge the fact that the defund the police concept was brought up
by
and
activists,
constantly reaffirmed by some of the most powerful Democrats in America.
The Speaker of the House said...
Yeah, he's using a lot of words to say a simple fact. He's a lying sack of monkey nuts. A loony leftist.
America.
Shuffling of funds. That is not defunding.
If you would have...
Kamala Harris said reallocation. That is not...
But Ilhan Omar said not only defund, she said dismantle. She's a member of Congress. How many people are listening to that?
Stop. That's one member of Congress, right?
Oh, but you want to let the whole thing play.
There's a 7-minute video.
You want to let the whole thing play?
First of all, show me... Here's the deal. Show me 218 who defended that and actually voted for it to happen. Please. You can't. You know why?
Stop.
Because they didn't.
This is where credibility is lost.
What are you talking about?
Credibility is lost if
this is utterly hilarious. I am stating a...
Do you know how you can tell you caught a loony leftist in a lie? They lie even louder, as if it will help.
I understand.
Democratic mayors, Democratic governors, Democratic president.
Raising your voice doesn't validate your argument.
Has increased funding. Yeah. Mayor Lori Lightfoot of Chicago took actual COVID funds and shifted $20 million to the police department to deal with the mental issues that they were having. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that reallocation?
Maybe one of the worst mayors in America.
She took COVID money.
Yeah.
Hold up. COVID money and reallocated for that. Oh, but reallocation works when you agree with it.
Roland.
What I'm trying to explain to you is when you say defund, that means cut.
You can
defund means cut.
Do you remember earlier when I said there's a difference between persuasion and manipulation? You can spin any argument.
I'm not spinning.
You're very good at debating. You're very good at raising your voice, interrupting all that stuff.
No,
I've watched you for years.
I just think it's hilarious.
We'll see you later, Farmer. IH Farmer. I actually wish I knew your name. I don't, because I'm in Brazil, so we don't converse much. But hopefully, I'll see you next Saturday too. I have to come up with a subject, but hopefully, it'll be a good one. Boa noite, which means good night in Portuguese.
But that both of you will say that the Democratic Party has supported defund the police when the
I didn't say support.
Let's see. Good night, Matt. Boa noite, Matt. Até mais logo.
When the fact of the matter
I said the Democratic Party came up with the idea of defunding the police.
And you're wrong.
And they supported it.
You're actually wrong.
You've not heard Republicans say defund the police. You've not heard.
Actually, you're actually wrong. In Senator Tim Scott's policing bill that he released in 2021, in the bill,
I fact-checked this again. Caught lying. If your time is short, which it is, congressional Republicans unanimously opposed the $1.9 trillion American Recovery Act. That's in there. The law sends $350 billion to localities, gives them wide discretion on how to spend it. The law allows but does not require localities to spend some of the money on essential workers such as police. Nothing in the law cuts funding to police departments.
Happily send it to you.
What did he say?
He actually said.
What did he say?
You want me to read it?
I want to hear it.
No, I'm going to read it. Hold up.
Let me guess. He said reallocate.
No. That's not what he said. Because, see, what you don't understand is.
But here's what we're going to do.
No. Hold on. When the George Floyd Justice Act.
Play the entire
When the George Floyd Justice Act
failed. Play the
failed,
entire clip.
I literally sent this. I sent this to Senator Tim Scott, and he didn't answer my question.
When we were running for office. And I answered yes to that question.
We are going to reduce funding in the police department and redirect that money.
Is that a smart move?
There's no
reduce
reason
funding?
Police budget should just keep growing and growing and growing. They can
what did they do?
Sensible cuts to police.
We propose
police cuts is a good thing.
No, it wasn't cuts.
$7 million from the
he
police.
just said that.
You don't even know what London Breed did. You don't know what she did in San Francisco.
No, that wasn't a she. That was a guy.
London Breed was speaking before her.
In cuts.
Rashida Tlaib tweeting.
Are cuts a good thing?
No more policing, incarceration, and militarization.
Police cuts are a good thing in these communities.
If they're not doing their job.
What do they say?
Oh my God! So you
say we want fundamental.
Okay. Right here. No. You said to me. You said, "Oh, show me Republican." When Senator Tim Scott introduced his bill, okay, on police reform, this is one of the things that he did. When it failed last year, he went on Margaret Brennan's show, CBS Face the Nation. He said, the Democrats wanted to defund the police, and that was a bridge too far. In Senator Tim Scott's own bill, they actually said, in order for police to qualify for these funds, laws will have to be passed on the city or the state level. Excuse me.
Oh my God! So you buy that into defund the police, but we need to reduce it. It's not.
See right there. You won't even.
You're so funny.
You won't even listen,
buddy. If there's.
Holy shit!
You know you're in a cult if 40 will accuse your opposition of that which you are guilty.
You won't even listen.
So anybody who doesn't listen is
you. Listen. Senator Tim Scott said that they won't get the funds if laws don't get passed.
That's defundable.
When the George Floyd, listen,
you're a master spinner.
No. First of all, if you listen, I'm telling you what he did. He then a year later.
Spin. Spin is a pejorative term often used in the context of public relations practitioners and political communicators. It is used to refer to the sophisticated selling of a specific message that is heavily biased in favor of one's own position and employs maximum management of the media with the intention of maintaining or exerting control over the situation, often implying deception or manipulation. In other words, he got caught lying and now he needs to spin it back in his favor. He failed, but he needs to try.
Calls that same thing
respect,
defund the police, and I literally, and if you want to see it, those are the text messages.
You're so funny.
I sent to Senator Tim Scott, and I said, Senator Tim Scott, please explain to me the difference between what you said the Democrats are doing, what you did.
You just hurt your argument even more.
What are you talking about?
Because what you just did is validated everybody else what they just said.
He just validated the fact that every one of them was saying defund the police. You see how they contradict themselves?
Are you fucking getting it yet?
No.
Yes.
Because
that means what Kamala said, what Nancy Pelosi said. They're all saying the same thing. Defund the police.
And
now they realized it was a bad idea.
She did not say defund the police.
Of course. He did not either.
Oh. wait a minute. So you say what Kamala said was defund the police.
Your argument, you just screwed yourself up.
No, I didn't.
You did.
No, I didn't.
Of course you did.
No, I was specifically calling out Senator Tim Scott by trying to call something defund the police when they were simply proposing exactly what he did.
You know what's the problem? Here's the problem, Roland. The problem is when I sit down with somebody with whatever thing they believe in, okay, it's specifically a lot on the Democratic side. It's specifically. It is being a Democrat before their country. It is how they vote before America. It is, nope, I'm going to defend this because there's no way these guys going to say anything wrong with defund the police. And that's where you lose credibility. All you have to say is, I don't acknowledge this, I don't support this. That's all you have to say.
You have no credibility on this when you can't even acknowledge what reallocation means. You have no credibility when you can't even define that. When I have actually talked to mayors and city council members, and they have walked through how. When London Breed, when the
policies have destroyed the city.
Here you go.
And he'll go back to that same old debunked argument. Again, he would have to explain away New Orleans and Chicago, who haven't elected a Republican mayor since 1870 and 1932, respectively. He won't, though. He'll yell louder.
Well, here you go. We're
destroy the cities.
Destroying the cities.
53 years Democrats have had to vote.
When the mayor of San Francisco talked about the mental illness crisis in their particular city, and they said we need to be sending mental health folks out on calls and not always the cops. Now, we've seen numerous examples where that happens.
San Francisco also has a Soros-backed rogue prosecutor. It was one of the top 20 cities in the country for homicides in 2022, 2.6 per 100,000 population. The former district attorney was recalled in June 2022, and guess what happened? The mayor just appointed another Soros-backed rogue prosecutor.
What has actually happened in the last 30 or 40 years in Democrat and Republican cities and states in the country? We've seen a massive cut of mental illness. What is the greatest increase of incidents?
Again.
No, I'm
Spin
not.
Again.
I'm stating fact.
Yeah.
What you don't like, you refuse to acknowledge or accept, because you're stuck on Democrats have had it for 53 years. You act as if... No, wait, hold up. You act as if in those 53 years, Republicans have never had power. You act as if Republicans have never had the House or the Senate or the White House.
Here's what I said to you.
So here's the question.
I said to you...
Show me how the Republicans
There's no way
changed.
to talk with you, bro. I got to tell you. So
show me how Republicans changed.
So here's what I tell you.
Give me examples.
Are you going to let anybody speak?
I'm waiting for your examples.
If you have 92% of an entire community's vote.
Like the evangelicals?
For 60 years.
Like the evangelicals?
Evangelicals are also part of that black vote. If you have 92%.
You actually don't understand evangelicals, black evangelicals.
If you have 92% of the black vote for 59 years, 59 years later, 27 out of 30 cities for crime are ran by Democrats, your policies don't work.
Here he goes. Talk over, interrupt, try to bury the message. Classic leftist tactic. The only thing he hasn't done is call him a fascist and burn something. He has insinuated he's a racist, but hasn't come right out and said it. Race baiting and the populist bomb for like 30 minutes. That's all that was. The problem is idiots didn't listen to the calm one. They'll listen to the idiot screaming and yelling and say, he's so passionate. No, he's an asshole. A race baiting asshole. So that's the show for tonight. I have to drink beer to keep my blood pressure down because of these assholes. Now, and I don't know if he's an asshole outside. I know he's trying to make a buck. That's what it is. He's trying to make a buck. All right. Good for him. A couple people showed up tonight. None of the loony leftists that I invited that 100 times. I think one of them may have actually just sent me something. I don't know. let me see here. I did. Yeah. Oh, that was another topic. The mandates are coming back because they have a year to prepare for the election. So I get to send in an absentee ballot, not an absentee ballot. I guess it's an mail-in ballot because I'm an American citizen living abroad. So yeah. To you loony leftists out there, keep sending the money for my retirement because you couldn't go to war for yourself because you're fucking retarded or pussies or whatever. And to the E4 corporal, I'm a staff sergeant. Fucking grow up. But anyway, that's tonight's show. I think I'm going to go over to Facebook and see if I can do a room or whatever and see if anyone shows up. Because I don't talk to my family other than that. So, a little Portuguese for you. Até mais logo. See you later. Adios.
Sad days I trash your party. You hate Trump, Biden, Charlie. You tell them you see you are good. Science makes you mad, and that makes you glad. Raise now, God is all said. Biology is just too much, so the doctors cut off your nuts and you think that you obey. Call me and swear me because you changed the way you be, and I don't want to live your fantasy. I know I'm right. You're fucking crazy. And tonight I'm through just how much you ain't too right. You're kind of lazy. I know I'm wrong. I know I'm right. You're fucking nuts.